The image of the lone wolf is one of the most destructive lies ever sold to the modern man. You see him in movies, the silent drifter, the man who needs no one, the warrior who stands against the world alone. It appeals to your ego because it feels like ultimate independence. But in the cold reality of biology, a wolf without a pack is a dead wolf. A lone wolf cannot hunt large prey, cannot protect territory from rivals, and cannot sleep with both eyes closed. He is a scavenger, living on the fringes of existence, until he is eventually picked off by a stronger collective. For 200,000 years, humans did not survive because they were the strongest or the fastest. We survived because we were the most cooperatively lethal. We are the ultimate pack animals. Your lone wolf phase is not a sign of strength, it is a sign of social incompetence. It is a biological failure. The sovereign man understands that his power is not measured by what his hands can do alone, but by the network of predators he can mobilize with a single word. We are going to deconstruct the pack mentality. We are going to explain why doing it all yourself is the fastest way to stay poor and vulnerable, and how to begin the process of assembling a tribe that multiplies your force by a factor of 10. To master the pack, you must first understand the biological imperative of the tribe. In our ancestral environment, exile was a death sentence. If the tribe cast you out, you lost your access to fire, shared food, and collective defense. Your brain is hardwired to fear social isolation because for most of human history, isolation meant execution by nature. This is why public speaking and social rejection trigger such intense physical panic. Your amygdala thinks you are being pushed out into the cold to die. The modern nice guy reacts to this fear by becoming a servant to the group. He tries to please everyone so they won't leave him. The apex predator reacts differently. He doesn't seek to fit into a tribe. He seeks to construct a tribe around his mission. He understands that a collection of high-value individuals is a biological superpower. When you have a pack, you have surplus eyes. While you are focused on the hunt, your business, your goals, your pack is watching the perimeter. They are spotting threats you missed and identifying opportunities you couldn't see. A man alone is a point of failure. A man in a pack is part of a fortress. Let's analyze the law of social leverage. Most men are stuck in linear growth. They only have 2 hands and 24 hours. No matter how hard they work, they hit a ceiling. This is the employee mindset, trading 1 unit of time for 1 unit of result. The sovereign man seeks non-linear growth through human leverage. He understands that if he can find 5 men who are each 100% committed to the vision, he has increased his output by 500% while his time remains constant. But you cannot buy this kind of loyalty with a salary. True pack loyalty is built on mutual predation. The pack stays together because they can kill more together than they can apart. This is why your network is not a group of friends you drink beer with. It is a group of killers you hunt with. Every member of your tribe must be an asset. If they are not helping you move the needle, they are social friction. They are parasitic weight. You must be ruthless in your selection. You are not looking for followers. You are looking for specialists. You need a legal predator, a financial predator, a technical predator, and a social predator. You want to be the hub of a wheel made of steel spokes. We need to discuss the biology of trust, oxytocin and serotonin. In a pack, trust is the lubricant of the machine. If you have to spend energy worrying if your partner is going to steal from you or betray you, your OODA loop slows down. You become vulnerable. The apex predator builds trust through high-stakes shared history. You don't trust a man because he says the right things. You trust him because you have been in the trenches together. You have faced a crisis, a market crash, or a rival attack, and you both held the line. This is why nice guy networking events are useless. They are low-stakes environments. Real bonds are forged in the hormetic heat of conflict. This is where the protocol 260 serves as a tribal filter. It creates a shared language and a shared mission among men who are all moving toward the same goal of sovereignty. When you find men who are willing to invest in themselves and play the long game, you have found the raw material for a pack. You are looking for men who value their reputation more than a short-term gain. In a world of scammers and lone wolves, the man who is known for his loyalty is the most valuable currency on earth. Consider the hierarchy of the pack. Every pack needs an alpha, the one who defines the mission and takes the ultimate responsibility. We talked about this in the dominance module. The alpha is not the loudest. He is the most useful. He is the one who ensures the pack is fed and protected. But a pack also needs a second in command and specialized soldiers. If everyone is trying to be the alpha, the pack destroys itself from within. This is ego friction. The apex predator knows how to subordinate his ego to the mission. Sometimes, to win the war, you must play a supporting role in a specific battle. You must be willing to follow a man who is more competent in a a specific niche than you are. This is fluid leadership. In a high-level pack, the leadership shifts to whoever has the best map of reality for the current problem. If it's a legal fight, the lawyer leads. If it's a technical fight, the coder leads. If you are too insecure to let another man lead, you are not a king, you are a child playing dress-up. Finally, we must address the isolation of the digital age. In 2026, the lone wolf trap is easier to fall into than ever. You can sit in your room, work on your laptop, and have food delivered to your door. You can feel connected through social media while being biologically isolated. This is a trap. Digital connection is low-resolution connection. It doesn't trigger the same tribal neurochemistry as physical presence. The apex predator makes a conscious effort to physicalize his tribe. He meets in person. He breaks bread. He looks men in the eye. He knows that the secret of the 1% is not a hidden formula. It is the hidden room. It is the small group of men who meet in private to share information, pool resources, and coordinate their attacks on the market. While the lone wolves are fighting over the public scraps, the pack is dividing the private spoils. You must decide, do you want the pride of doing it alone, or do you want the power of the collective? The lone wolf dies in the winter. The pack survives until the spring. Building a pack is not about collecting friends. It is about selecting biological assets. Most men are surrounded by social parasites, people who consume your time, energy, and resources without ever adding to the strength of the group. They are the weak links who will be the first to break when the pressure of the hunt intensifies. The apex predator understands that a single compromised individual can destroy a fortress from the inside. Therefore, you must master the anatomy of betrayal and selection. You need a filtering system that is as ruthless as the nature that shaped you. You must learn how to perform the stress test on every potential ally before they are granted access to the inner circle. Loyalty is not a default setting. It is an earned attribute that must be verified through conflict and temptation. If you do not vet your pack, you are simply inviting the predator to sleep in your den. To select your tribe, you must look for the biological markers of integrity. In the wild, a reliable pack member is one whose actions are consistent with the survival of the group. In the modern world, this translates to high-stakes reliability. You are looking for men who have something to lose. A man with no reputation, no family, and no legacy is a dangerous man to trust because he has no skin in the game. He can betray you and disappear into the digital void. The apex predator seeks out men who are anchored by their own ambitions. He looks for those who value their long-term market status over a short-term grab. This is why the Protocol 260 is an essential vetting tool. It attracts men who understand the value of investment and the discipline of the long game. You are looking for the patriarch mindset, men who are building for the next century, not just the next weekend. You must perform the premeditated stress test. Do not wait for a real crisis to find out if your partner is a coward or a thief. You must manufacture micro-crises to observe their behavior under pressure. Give them a small amount of power and see if they become a tyrant. Give them a small opportunity to cheat without being caught and see if they take it. Observe how they react when the hunt goes poorly. Do they blame others, the victim response, or do they take ownership, the leader response? If a man folds during a minor business setback, he will absolutely betray you during a major market collapse. The nice guy ignores these red flags because he is lonely. The apex predator thanks the universe for the red flag and cuts the tie immediately. One hungry wolf in the pack is a threat. One treacherous wolf is a death sentence. We need to discuss the neurochemistry of betrayal. When someone you trust betrays you, it triggers the same brain regions as physical pain. It is a biological system error. This is why betrayal feels so devastating. It shatters your internal map of reality. To prevent this, you must maintain information compartmentalization. Even within your pack, no one should have 100% of the keys to your kingdom. This is not about paranoia. It is about structural integrity. You distribute tasks and information so that each member is a specialist, but only you, the alpha, see the entire board. This is how you manage the risk of the inner circle. By making yourself the indispensable integrator of the pack's specialized skills, you ensure that the cost of betraying you is the collapse of the traitor's own success. You make loyalty the most profitable strategy for everyone involved. Finally, understand the law of the dead weight. A pack is only as fast as its slowest member. If you are carrying a man who is lazy, pessimistic, or incompetent because of old times, you are being a bad leader to the rest of the pack. You are signaling that the standard of the tribe is low. This breeds resistance resentment among your high performers. They will look at the dead weight and think, why am I working so hard if he gets the same reward for doing nothing? This is how high-value packs dissolve into mediocrity. You must have a culture of meritocracy. Every member must justify their spot in the den every single day. If they stop contributing, they must be moved to the outer circle or exiled entirely. This is the hard mercy of the apex. You protect the health of the collective by removing the rot. You are the guardian of the standard. Within a high-performance pack, communication is not about politeness or social pleasantries. It is about the transmission of tactical truth. In the wild, if one wolf signals that the prey is to the left when it is actually to the right, the hunt fails and the pack starves. There is no room for ego-saving lies or passive-aggressive ambiguity. The apex predator establishes predatory communication protocols designed to maximize the speed of the OODA loop. You must create an environment where information flows at the speed of thought, unburdened by the social friction that slows down the masses. To dominate, your tribe must operate as a single nervous system, reacting to market threats and opportunities with a unified clinical precision. The foundation of this is radical candor. Most men operate in socially acceptable modes of speech. They sugarcoat their criticisms, they hedge their bets, and they avoid the hard truths to keep the peace. This is a weakness that leads to systemic rot. In your pack, you must normalize the surgical strike. If a brother makes a mistake, you don't talk behind his back. You address it immediately and bluntly. Your landing page is weak, your copy is boring. Fix it. This is not an insult. It is a calibration. By removing the emotional padding from your feedback, you save hours, days, and weeks of wasted effort. You must value the mission more than each other's feelings. When everyone in the pack knows that the feedback is aimed at the result, not the man, the fear of conflict vanishes and the speed of execution skyrockets. You must utilize information compression. The world is drowning in noise, and most communication is just vocal fidgeting. The apex predator demands brevity. Every message, every email, and every briefing within the pack must follow the BLUF protocol. Bottom line up front. What is the threat? What is the opportunity? What is the required action? If you can't summarize the situation in 3 sentences, you don't understand it well enough. By enforcing this standard, you train the pack to think clearly and act decisively. You eliminate the mental drag of corporate-style meetings and endless chat threads. You turn your communication into a series of executive commands. Consider the digital sovereign territory. In 2026, your den is not just physical, it is digital. If your pack is communicating on public platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, or Slack, you are vulnerable to the external predator, the state, the hackers, and the platform owners. The apex predator builds a fortified communication loop. You use end-to-end encryption, decentralized servers, and private keys. You treat your data as if it were the gold in your treasury, because it is. Your internal market intel is your most valuable asset. If it leaks, you lose your edge. By creating a private, unhackable digital space, you provide the psychological safety required for the pack to speak the raw, dangerous truth without fear of surveillance. Finally, you must master the silent sync. The ultimate evolution of a pack is when they no longer need to speak to coordinate. They have a shared mental map of the objective and a deep understanding of each other's roles. They move in silence. This level of synchronization is achieved through the protocol 260 by adopting the same systems, the same philosophy, and the same aggressive standards. When every man in the pack is running the same sovereign operating system, the need for constant management disappears. You don't need to tell a professional predator how to hunt. You just need to point at the target. You move from a command and control model to a mission command model. You provide the intent and the pack provides the execution. This is how you achieve 20x productivity. This is how you outpace the world. The pack is not a static arrangement. It is a living, breathing engine of war that must be fueled by shared victory and solidified by the fair distribution of the kill. Most collectives fail at the finish line. They hunt well together, but when the prey, the profit, the status, the territory is finally on the ground, the internal hierarchy collapses into bickering, resentment, and greed. If the alpha takes too much, the pack revolts. If the alpha takes too little, he loses his authority. The apex predator understands the biology of reward. He knows that the dopamine spike of a win must be anchored to the loyalty of the tribe. You are not just building a business, you are building a sovereign dynasty. Every win is a ritual that reinforces the pack operating system. You must ensure that every member of your tribe feels the heat of the victory in their own veins. This is how you create a loyal loyalty that lasts centuries, moving beyond a simple partnership and into the realm of a blood oath alliance. You must establish the meritocratic split. In the high-performance pack, there are no equal shares by default. Equality is a poison that rewards the lazy and punishes the obsessed. You distribute the kill based on the direct contribution to the mission. Those who took the most risk and delivered the most impact get the largest portion. This is not unfair. It is biological justice. By rewarding the highest performers, you create an internal competitive hormesis that forces every wolf to sharpen his teeth. You want your lieutenants to be hungry but fed. You give them enough to taste the power, but you keep the ultimate source of the hunt, the infrastructure and the systems, under your direct control. This is how you prevent a palace coup while ensuring the machine runs at 100% capacity. You are the architect of the incentive map. Consider the ritual of the post-hunt. Most men close a deal and move immediately to the next task. They ignore the psychological need for celebration and closure. The apex predator knows that the pack needs to smell the blood. You must mark your victories. Whether it is a physical gathering, a public acknowledgement within the private digital territory, or the immediate transfer of funds, the connection between action and reward must be visceral and immediate. This anchors the pack's loyalty to the mission. It reinforces the neural pathways that say, following this alpha leads to survival and surplus. You are training the pack to crave the hunt. You are turning the hard work of the protocol, 260, into a cycle of addiction to excellence. When the pack is addicted to winning, they become unstoppable. They will hunt through the winter, through the recession, and through the fire because they know the reward is guaranteed by your word. We must discuss the legacy of the tribe. A pack that only exists for the current hunt is a mercenary group. Mercenaries have no loyalty. They go to the highest bidder. To turn your pack into a dynasty, you must provide a multi-generational vision. You are not just making money for today. You are building a fortress of assets that will protect the families of everyone in the circle. You talk about the inheritance of the pack's power. You build systems that outlast any single individual. By making the pack's survival synonymous with the family's survival of every member, you create a bond that cannot be broken by a competitor's bribe. You are building a social citadel. You are moving from networking to kinship by choice. You are the patriarch of a new type of family, one born of shared competence and shared conquest. Finally, realize that the lone wolf is a myth of the past. In the hyper-connected, predatory world of 2026, the only way to remain sovereign is to be the center of a lethal, loyal, and specialized collective. You have the tools to process the sound, the vision to create the imagery, and the systems to dominate the market. But without the pack, you are just a high-performing target. Wake up the tribal instinct. Stop trying to be the man who does everything and start being the man who commands everyone. Find your killers, train them, feed them, and then unleash them on the world. The era of the individual is over. The era of the digital warpack has begun. Secure your perimeter. Assemble your tribe and hunt until the world belongs to you.